Dime qué es lo que esperas. Dime qué quieres ver.
Good morning, beautiful ones. How are you all doing on this beautiful Wednesday morning? It's sunny in England, and I'm in the mood for a foundation, not a review as such. I was just in Savers this morning, and next to the Rimmel cage thing, shelving unit. That's probably the best word for it. I saw a little row of shelves with makeup on, and I thought, wow, let's have a little look at these. And these ones, and this is called Dazzle, and this is a foundation. You'll never guess how much this one was, guys. Go on, have a guess. Tell me how much. £1. £1 for that. So I got two of these. I got the shade medium and fair. They didn't have any light. I don't know if there's a website or not. So we'll play around with this today. And I also thought that, because that one looks a little bit yellowy to me, the medium one. Is that upside? Yeah, it's upside. No, yeah, upside down. Sorry, blind as a bat. So I thought, beautiful ones, perhaps we could try mixing him with him. Why not? That one looks very slightly too yellow for me. I mean, it may very well be that once I've opened it up and put it on my face, that the colour disappears into my face. And this one looks as way too pale, doesn't it, really? So we'll try mixing them together, and I'm going to try something else today, because that one looks slightly too yellow to me. Does it look quite yellowy to you? I imagine it's got American tan vibes going on. So we're going to introduce some red into the equation, and I'll show you how to do that. It's just an experiment. It might work, it might not, but sounds like something you guys want to find out more about. Stay tuned. On my skin at the minute, guys, I'm using a DIY formulation of mine. It's basically just bakuchiol oil, and I've made a gel out of xanthan gum and water and propylene glycol just to make the slurry. And I'll show you how to do that, possibly in about a month's time, because I'm also going to be reviewing a retinol product from Superdrug. However, I think the bakuchiol is working wonders. My skin feels firm. I've only been doing it for 48 hours now, and it's already paying dividends on my skin, isn't it? Okay, right, so gorgeous ones. Here I have two tubes, and I think these are 30ml. Let me just check. Yep, so basically these come in your bog standard 30ml, and upside down again. Get it right, man, for goodness. I can't actually see anything without my glasses on, believe it or not. It's still upside down. Sorry, what's happening? I should just say, guys, I haven't got a clue whether this is going to be a blind review or just a straightforward bog standard YouTube foundation review, because I don't even know whether there's a website for these ones. I don't imagine there would be. I mean, £1. Do you know what I mean? Do you guys? £1? £1 for that? It's brilliant, isn't it? And this one was also £1. So of course it was. Do you know what I mean? So before I go any further, guys, I must introduce you to a new friend I have. This is Freya. Shall I show you her? This is a painting I've done for a very, very special person. Can you see her eye? I always start off in the eye, because that way it brings them to life for me. Do you know what I mean? And it coaxes me on to finish the painting. But yeah, so this is Freya. And the person I painted it for asked me to make sure the collar had the crowns on. And that was for the Jubilee, I think, or the coronation, something like that. Anyway, but that's Freya, so I'll put her back over there. And so Freya will be keeping a close eye on me to make sure I don't fluff up at all today, which I don't intend to do. So now then, guys, what I tend to do is every time I'm upside down again, goodness me. What I tend to do is every time I do a foundation or a review anything, as I just tell you what I can see in my hand. And here we have a 30ml black plastic tube with a plastic lid, and it has got a cellophane security seal sort of thing on it, with perforations on it somewhere. Yep, down the side there. Itchy moustache. And the foundation has a black collar towards the top, a black lid, a screw-off lid, and an area of transparent plastic so you can actually see the shade inside, and also that also indicates how much product you've got left. It also has the Dazzle branding on the front and the word foundation below, and this is by a company called, County, produced by County. So it's anyone's guess, really. So slightly difficult to get into, I'm not going to lie, guys, but so I've managed to take most of the, so that's all off there now. So this is the foundation proper now, that way. Right, and what I'll do is I'll just put some of this one on the back of my hand, and then I'll put a strip down here to see colour match. And what we'll do is we'll do that with both of these. And why I do that is just to see which one I can then use to play with today, if that's okay. I forgot to say, guys, that the slightly darker one is shade light to medium. Can you see that? Where is it? There. The word's light to medium, and this one is fair, and this is going to be way too pale for me. But so what I'll do is I'll put a swatch of each one on the back of my hand, And, oh, wow, so it's got one of those little metal foil sort of security things on. So I'll just peel him off. So that's him gone. Pop him over there. And we'll get some of this on the back of my rubber arm, shall we? So this is the shade Fair, isn't it, guys? Just put the lid on this one. Otherwise that will go everywhere. Can you see that there? Or should I say look there? And what I'll do is I'll do exactly the same with the light medium. Can you see that? I haven't even touched, just took the lid off it. So it doesn't matter. It's no biggie. So now exactly the same with the light medium, and I'll put that one on that side of my hand. And that looks way, way, way too yellow for me. I think we're going to have to mix these together, beautiful ones. So can you see that one there and there? Or should I say look there? And I'll start by blending that one in first. Wow. It's quite chalky at the minute. Stop making judgments, man. Trouble with myself. Wow. So that's pretty sheer. Can you see? Again, way, way, way too full. I'll just put excess on the back of that, on the side of my face. You can see that area there, can you, beautiful ones? It's very glowy, isn't it? No smell at all. It's got that very, very faint foundation smell. So it's an unfragrance formulation or formulation. And now I'll blend in this one. Wow, bugger. Wow, wow, wow. American tan territory now, aren't we, guys? At the moment, I'm thinking maybe one part of the medium shade to 3 or 4 parts of the fair one, because that's way too pale and that's way too dark, isn't it, for me? I might just blend the middle bit out to see what happens there. To see if, to see if we can get anywhere. I think it's going to be the whole formulate. Just need to clean that off. The whole formulate, J-cloth essential item for me anyway. I think the both of the colours are way too off. I think the medium is, the light to medium is way too yellow for my skin tone. The fair is slightly pinker, although it's way, way, way too pale. Again, though, beautiful ones, should we wait and reserve judgment until we get these two on my old face? So which one shall I start with? I'll start with Fair, the palest one. And I have just cleaned that off. I've just wiped it off with my J-cloth. Again, essential item for someone as clumsy or as messy as me. So I'll be putting a strip of that one down my jaw, starting here, and, all the way down to my neck. So let's get some of him on there. It's quite a nice formulation. Again, it hasn't got any smell. All I can smell is bleach on my fingers because I'm obsessed with bleach, and I've just cleaned the bathroom. I've got to do the whole flat in a minute. But on the back of my hand, guys, it seemed to blend in really, really well. But oh wow, it just feels a bit silky. And I don't think it's just got any silicones in, not that I could see in Savers. But just continue to blend him in just a little bit more. What do we reckon to that? Way too pale. We're entering Geisha Girl territory, aren't we here? 3 little maids from school, are we? And all of that. Is it Gilbert and Sullivan? Something like that. Anyway, I won't sing though, guys. I won't offend anyone by singing, because although I am a Welshman, I can't sing for toffee. Right, okay. So now, beautiful ones, I'll go in with the light medium, the one that made me look bright American tan on the back of my, it was on the back of my hand, wasn't it? Way, way, way too orangey yellow. But we've got to try these things, haven't we? So I'll put that just there. And who knows, it might adjust, or it might oxidize down into being an exact match. Although I think this is pulling way, way, way too yellow for my skin. Just clean my fingers. Can you see the back one has disappeared, hasn't it? It's sort of. It's still very, very pale, but it's matching my neck, whereas the front one hasn't at all. For £1 though, guys, do you know what I mean? £1. It's just absurd, isn't it? 30 mils for £1. I'm sorry, I'm just getting really carried away here. Okay, the back one has dried, and the front one, well, not really dried as such. It's I don't know if these are moisturising formulations or not, but doesn't say anything on the tubes. I should have said that earlier, shouldn't I? Other than the Dazzle branding on the front, it's just the ingredients on the back and the company's address. So we are working very, very much in the dark. There's no claims, there's no nothing. So we're going to have to form our own opinions here, guys, aren't we? I'll go and get myself a quick cup of tea and give this 5 minutes, because the light medium may oxidise. Then again, I don't think it will. But and then what I might do is put a layer of that one all over this 50-year-old face of mine and see how it looks straight out of the tube onto my face, and then we'll try and mix them up, shall we? And then if that one looks too yellow, I'll show my plan to introduce a little bit of a red to make it slightly cooler. It might not work though, guys, but fingers crossed. So gorgeous ones. I'll go and now apply a layer of Dazzle in the shade Fair to this old face of mine, and I'm going to use my foundation brush. I got this from Superdrug, £4.90, £3.99 I think it could have been. Very, very cheap, and we are doing everything on a budget on this channel because I know that not everyone can go out there and afford, you know, luxury stuff. So we'll start with that blob there, and I'll start with my nose and forehead and, you know, areas you get texture. So let's get plenty of him onto my brushy. Can you see? There's plenty, and this is going to be way, way, way too pale, guys. And the other one didn't oxidize down, I should have said, sorry. And this brush is slightly damp. In fact, it's very wet, but I just, because this hasn't got silicones in it, I just want to see how it holds up to having water introduced into the equation. Don't know why. Just, you know, no reason, no theory behind that or anything, but I just guessed that it might just improve the overall look of, because I mean, if we can get a really, really expensive looking skin from £1 foundation, that would be great, wouldn't it, guys? That would just be awesome. So just continue to blend him in, and I don't know what coverage this foundation is or anything about it really. Just keep blending. You all okay, beautiful ones? Hope so. Just keep blending. I'll go and take a set of photos in a minute for this application. Wow, it's quite glowy, isn't it? And on the skin, it doesn't, it feels very, very soft and very hydrating. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so wow. Colour match is pretty good, isn't it? And I am very pale anyway, not John McLean sort of pale, but yeah, I'm liking this stuff so far. I just put my brush over here. It actually could be silicone based, you know, because I've just put my brush into my jug, and if this wasn't silicone based, when you put something in there and you do that, and you can see the foundation starting to dissolve in the water, that's another indication that the foundation is water based. Whereas if it's silicone based, it will tend to stick to the brush because it offers a sort of like a waterproof sort of effect. Do you know what I mean? Do you guys? I hope so. Right, so now it's time for a close-up inspection. Glasses are relatively clean, I guess. And, oh, by the way, I'm using purple. You know the Provoke shampoo, they do this icy shade one as well, which is supposed to lighten your hair by 2 shades. It's not why I'm using it. I'm just using it to neutralise any brassy tones. But I think it's giving my skin a very my hair, giving my hair a very sort of ashy, sort of silvery sort of look, isn't it? Which is what I wanted. But should we talk about foundation rather than my hair? Let's do that. Wow. Wow, look at that area there, guys. Liking this stuff for £1. I'm sorry, guys. How many times am I going to say that today? Possibly 1,000. And on the skin, it hasn't dried, so I guess it's got moisturising ingredients in. And I could look at the ingredients. Do you want me to? I have looked at them, but I mean, I could go through them and explain which one is what. Just clean off Stoshy. Let's have a really close inspection, shall we? So it's got quite good coverage, isn't it? I don't think it's not a full, and I don't think it's a medium coverage foundation, possibly a sheer to medium. But colour match is amazing, isn't it? Probably go and stand in the window now and look like a ghost or something, but I'll go and take a set of photos, and when I come back, should we try mixing them together? Why not? Because I think this one is slightly too pale for me, isn't it? So it could be 1/5 of the dark one to 4/5 of the pale one. But we'll make it work anyway, guys. So beautiful ones. Here's a set of photos. This one's me looking straight out of the window into natural daylight. Really, really, really nice coverage, actually. I mean, it looks barely there on the skin, but you can certainly tell that it's perfecting my skin. Here's me looking to the right. And it's not too pale either, and it looks really, really... Can you see the glow? Sorry. Carry on looking. Sorry. We'll talk about my skin afterwards. Here's me looking to the left. Here's me holding the camera above my head. And lastly, flash photography. I'm not too sure whether it's because we use the brush application or, I'm sorry, my whole face is now itching. It's because my moustache is growing all different. It's growing that way now. It's going outwards and inwards. Do you know what I mean? And I can feel it here and here. Should really go and put, so I'm using that beard conditioner I showed you the other day, but didn't do my top lip, and perhaps I should have. And I don't know whether it's because I soaked my brush first. It could have been, couldn't it? But it sheared the formulation right out, and it's made it not bonded with my skin as such, because I don't think it is a silicone foundation. It could be. I couldn't see the word dimethicone or cyclomethicone, anything like that in the ingredients, although I will study them a little bit closer later on. So, right, okay. Without any further waffle from Mr. Waffle himself, I'll go and clean my brush, and then when I come back, shall we try mixing these two on the back of my hand? So gorgeous ones. Get your darker shade, and we'll go in with the light medium first of all, and I'll put a very, very small amount on the back of my hand, or the rubber arm, and that should be plenty. Can you see that? And there's quite a bit there actually. So, and as I said, 1-to-1 fit, 1-to-1 ratio of 1-to-5 of the dark to the 4 to the 1-to-1. A ratio of 1-to-5. 1 shade darker, 4 parts light. How does that sound? Okay. So, can't get my words out today, so I'm ever so stressed. So now that's those two. That one's the fair, that one's the light medium. And what I'll do is I'll just start by introducing a very, very small amount of the light medium into the fair. So what I'll need to do first of all is just to get that moving a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And then I'll turn my brush over and just get a touch of him on there. It's a very, very small amount. And we'll just blend these two together, and this should just darken it up ever so slightly. Need a little bit more. Shall I blend all of that? I may as well, just blend it all in, why not? And hopefully what I'm hoping, this is what I thought would happen, is that the cool tones in the fair have overridden the warm tones in the light medium. So let's start painting this one on this old face show. And shall I shut up? Okay, I'll shut up, shall I? Again, my brush is soaking wet, and I have just cleaned it. And this isn't a silicone foundation. They're not. But for £1 though, guys, I mean, please, silly, isn't it? You've got Estee Lauder and Chanel charging like £60 or £35 for the latest formulations, which should, promise to turn back the hands of time and all of this, and yet nothing can. So why spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds on makeup items when you can get really, really, effective makeup items for £1? It's just silly, isn't it? Silly, silly, silly. Really working this over my old eyebrows today, so they'll need a good old clean up, won't they? But can you see how glowy it is? It's really reflective, isn't it? Okay, so it's still a little bit too pale, isn't it? So determined to make this one work though, so I'll go in with another application. Perhaps we ought to try. Should we try 2 parts with the 2 parts darker one and then 3 parts light, or shall I just mix half and half? I think I'll just mix half and half together. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'll have to remove this leg. It's still way, way, way too pale, isn't it? I won't even take any photos of this one if that's okay. Some neighbours will think I'm haunted by seeing a ghostly figure of a man in the window all the time. Do you know what I mean? Silly, isn't it? But okay. Yep, still way, way, way too pale, isn't it, guys? Right, should we start again? Okay, let's start again. So, guys, this time we're going to try half of the light medium, aren't we? And half of the fair. So I'll just put a dollop of that one on there. And again, it's a considerable amount, I guess. The foundation doesn't travel that well across the skin. It tends to drag a little bit with a foundation brush. Haven't tried with fingers yet, but so we want to have exactly the same amount of him. There's a little bit more of him on there. Put the lid on those, or they will go everywhere. If you're new to my channel, I'm very, very clumsy, by the way. I'm renowned for being clumsy on the House of Joseph, but right, okay, so should we blend those two together? And this time I'll just, I won't even bother with, adding in small amounts because, okay, well, it still looks a bit yellowy to me, and I'll show you what I'm going to try once I put this on my old face. Okay, let's start working that one in. Wow, that's better, isn't it? In fact, that's loads better. Still way, way, way too yellow though. Stop moaning about it being yellow, man. In trouble with myself, guys, again. Running out of product here. I should have put a little bit more on, really, shouldn't I? But on the back of my hand. But this is for demo purposes. Obviously, I don't wear foundation in everyday life. But, you know, if you're out there in your foundation, you have two foundations which you love, but one's too pale and one's slightly too dark, or one's slightly too pale and one's... Do you know what I mean? You can just try playing around with them, guys. I mean, you know, you can't harm it at the end of the day, can you? Put my brush over here. Let's have a look at that one, shall we? That's not the best application method. Do you see we've got there eventually in the end, didn't we? I still think it's a little bit too yellow, and we'll still do my experiment if that's okay. And it's gathering in my lines a little bit. It just feels really, really a little bit greasy on the skin. But again, for £1. How many times am I going to say that today? Right, let's clean up moustache and brows. And I'll go and take a set of photos after I've had a close inspection. See, the colour match is now virtually spot on, isn't it? I mean, the pale one was way... Oh, you've heard me say that a million times already today. Clean up eyebrows. The J-cloth has removed some of the foundation from... And it still hasn't dried, and I put that on about a minute ago, didn't I? So I don't think it would ever dry totally, or it's certainly not a matte foundation. Pretty glowy though, isn't it? Okay, I'll go and take a set of photos, then when I come back, I'll remove this layer, and then we'll try with my experiment, shall we, for the day? Let's do that. So, beautiful ones, in preparation for the next stage of the experiment, I've removed that layer of foundation from my face. However, first of all, there's another set of photos. This one's me looking straight out of the window. And this time the colour match is nearly spot on, although it's slightly too yellow. But here's me looking to the right. Here's me looking to the left. Here's me holding the camera above my head. And finally, guys, flash photography. Okie doke. So, right, now then. So we're going to try this one. This is the shade light to medium. The first one was a little bit too pale, and this one, although being way too dark, I think will demonstrate how we're going to make this one much cooler. Do you know what I mean? So because obviously foundations are made up of many different shades, predominantly blue, yellow, red, and a bit of green to help to temper the shade or to pull it in different directions. Cool tones typically are blue, red undertones. Warm tones typically red, yellow, red, orangey. So to make this one a little bit more cool, I thought we needed to introduce some red to it. Now I haven't got anything blue, but I do have a red lip vinyl, this one. So what I'll try is, that's the point behind today's experiment, is to try and mix some of that one in with this one to try and make it a little bit cooler. So without any further waffle, I'll get a big dollop of this one on the back of my hand. And if this works out, guys, then you know that if you have a lip stain or even a lipstick, a blue or a red, a blue and a red one, then you could tailor your foundations to any shade you want, really. I'm going to have to very small amount of this one because this stuff is ultra concentrated. So I'll put a dot of that one there, and that should be, I'll put a little bit more on. That should be, oh, I didn't shake it. You're supposed to shake this first for 5 seconds, aren't you? Just shaking it. 4, 5. Okay, so let's put another dollop of that one. Just, oh, this time I'll put it there, this side of the foundation. Okay, so that should be plenty for our purposes, shouldn't it, guys? Can't get the lid on it now. This might work or it might not, so, you know. Right, so, and what I'll do is, it's this one here, isn't it, on the right, on the left hand side, which will appear right to you guys. So I'll just start blending. So yeah, no, it's picking it up and it's blending together. Can you see? And I think we might need to introduce some of the paler colour into this one. So that's what I'll do now, is I'll get a dollop of the fair onto the whole mixture as well. And what I'm aiming to do here is to try and get exactly my skin tone from 2 £1 foundations and a cheap, well, not a cheap lipstick, it was about £11, I think, but Okay, so we're getting there, aren't we, guys? Can you see what's happening? Have a look in natural daylight. No, I don't think it's going to work, guys. It's certainly nowhere near my skin tone. Might try a little bit more of the red. Can you see that on the tip of my brush? Ah, no, it is working, guys. Wow. I didn't think the lip stain would incorporate into the foundation, but it has. Okay, without any further waffle, I'll start slapping this on this old face of mine, shall I? Working really quickly with this stuff because the vinyl lip gloss stuff will set down reasonably quickly because it's got those fixing agents in. No, the colour's not quite right. I think I need a bit of blue in there. So if I'd have, I know they do sell blue lipsticks, or I don't think that they certainly don't sell them in the vinyl ink range. But stop waffling, man, and get that makeup on them old chopses, please. Okay, will do. Trouble with myself, beautiful ones. Happens on a regular basis, though. Just work that one into. No, it's just. See, this is because way too orangey yellow, isn't it? The shade's just totally wrong for my skin tone. But shall I just blend that last bit in there and see if that makes any difference at all? It does. I guess it does. No, it's not working. It's the whole formulation is just too dark for my Celtic chops, but we could try with the light one if you want, trying a little bit of the vinyl ink with that one. Should we give that a go? I'll go and take a set of photos of this one in a minute. I need to have an inspection first, but right, let's have a little look at him. Okay, so it has taken quite a bit of the bulk of the orangeness away, hasn't it? Although I do think we need something blue in there as well before we're even approaching my skin tone. Clean up stoshy. I'm liking the fact that the formulation it's very glowy, and obviously my application is not the best in the world, but if that happens, you could just finger blend it in, couldn't you? Let's do that now. But I mean, you know, I'm going to say it again, guys, for £1, for £2, we've you know, my skin looks quite good now, doesn't it? Again, totally the wrong shade, but let's clean off my salt and peppering here. My brother's got white hair, guys, pure white, and he's 3 years older than me, so we can basically see what direction this lot's going in, can't we? Do you know what I mean? Doesn't matter though, does it? Oh, eyebrows. Pooh. Need to get my eyebrows done. Right, okay. Do you know, guys, I think it has worked. It has worked, isn't it? Wow. I didn't think it was going to work because when it was on the back of my hand, the colour would just look ridiculous, sort of like an unnatural sort of burgundy beige sort of blend, really, a bit vermicious and a bit horrible. But on the skin, wow. Wow, it's just totally blended in now, isn't it? The colour match is now virtually identical to my skin tone. There's no tide mark there between my neck, and I didn't bring it onto my neck really, so it's matched my neck. Still possibly a little bit on the yellow side, but if that happens, just add a little bit more red, or if you do get yourself a blue lipstick, then add 1 part blue, 1 part red to 4 or 5 parts foundation, or just play around with it until you get there. But wow, so that has really worked, isn't it? So our experiment today has been successful. I'll go and take a final set of photos. Probably look bright red like a baked bean or something now, but in this light it looks amazing, doesn't it? Okay, I'll go and take a set. Yeah, I'll go and do that now. It's definitely worked, guys. Absolutely. I mean, in natural daylight, it just looks identical to my skin tone. And in the pot or in the tube, that was way, way, way too yellow, wasn't it? And on the back of my hand, it looked a bit like a bit like curry powder or something, a bit too yellow, a bit too orangey. However, by applying a tiny amount of this burgundy sort of coloured lip stain, and this is very, very concentrated, so we only used a very, very small amount, didn't we? And if you want to see and I'll link my my how to make this into a cheek stain as well. We've got 3 or 4 different uses out of just one product so far, haven't we? Waffling. So here's the final set of photos. This one's me looking straight out of the window. This one's me looking to the right. Me looking to the left. Holding the camera above my head. And lastly, flash photography. So yeah, I mean, basically, but by adding a very, very small amount, and because this is very, very pigmented as well, and as I've just said, you know, the pigments in this are a burgundy red sort of colour. If you want a more of a true sort of colour tone, you'll need to add a blue into it, or if you've got warm skin tones, you'll need an orangey, yellowy red. So you could use this for warm and for cool skin tones, and then if you've got more of a cool skin tone, add a blue lipstick too. More of a warm sort of lipstick. Warm skin tone, add a bit of a yellow, and I know you can get yellow lipsticks and you can get blue lipsticks too. So beautiful. And just to prove I'm not trying to dupe anyone, this is my skin in natural daylight now. Maybe a little bit patchy, so if you want more of a smoother application, go in with a sponge or use fingers or something. However, the colour is spot on, isn't it? And before it was way, way, way too yellow. So beautiful ones. In today's review / tutorial, we have tried 2 foundations, £1 bottles. Wow, it's just so cheap, isn't it? The first one, the Fair, was way too, well, not way too pale. I mean, on the bottom, in the bottle, that basically looks white, doesn't it? But it on the back of my hand, again, it looked too pale. Although once it was on my face, it did start to oxidize down, and was out of the 2, I think that this one was the better match for my skin tone. The light medium was way, way, way too yellow, wasn't it? We applied it with various different methods of application, didn't we? And then finally, because I thought that we needed a bit of red into the equation, we added some of the Maybelline Vinyl Lip Ink in shade Unrivaled. Can you see that one there? And on the back of the hand, it looked ridiculous. It looked like a burgundy mess, although on my face, it's just disappeared, isn't it? And I put quite a lot on as well. So big tip there, guys. If your foundation is pulling too yellow, you want some blue and some red. If it's pulling to the other way, you want some yellow and some orange. So that's it for today, beautiful ones. If you enjoyed today's tutorial, please don't forget to give this one a thumbs up. Similarly, consider subscribing. It helps the channel grow, and and if you like and comment as well, that also helps greatly. So please, if you could, thank you so much. And all that remains is for me to wish you, beautiful ones, a gorgeous Wednesday, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care.